2025. Happy New Year. This is very late. I want to sit down and chat to you because it's already the 24th of January. But before I get started, let's make a coffee. Since 2025 has already made itself very comfortable on the sofas, I want to reflect. Let's look back at 2024. At the beginning of that year, when it came around, we all said we're going to conquer mountains, we're going to do everything, we're going to get started on this project, we're going to finally make an art piece that we're proud of, and we're going to, go to a gallery with it, we're going to learn our fundamentals. Well, it's 2025 now. A lot of those goals are still on gold, and that happens every year. It happens for a lot of us. It happened for me, it probably happened for you, but the important thing is that we look back and look at what we actually managed to do. Never forget that part. In this video, I want to chat with you about some of the tools I'm going to take with myself into 2025 as an artist, creative, whoever you are, whatever you do. I think these tools can apply to you in many areas. Now, as a quick disclaimer, these aren't going to be just physical tools. I want to talk to you about mindsets. I'm not some sort of guru person that's going to tell you, oh yeah, you need to wake up at 5 a.m, do your cold shower routine, you need to eat only egg yolks for the rest of your life on a wooden board. I'm not going to tell you all of that stuff. But what I am going to tell you is just things that I'm taking with myself into 2025 that I think are going to make my life significantly better. And hopefully they can do exactly the same for you. One of my new things in life is that I want to make videos that one, I like doing and that I enjoy making, and two, every single one of these new videos that I'm going to put out has to have some sort of purpose or some sort of thing for you. Basically, I do not want you to waste however long each video is of your life. I want you to get something out of it. So number one, less is more. What do I mean by less is more? I just want to tell you, you can apply this aspect to pretty much every area of your life. It can be art, it can be food, it can be routine, it can be what you want to do and pursue, costs of living, it can be just how you live your life. Less is more. Kind of minimalism in a way, but it's minimalism for everything you do. Because the thing is, people don't often realize that in order to grow and become better at something, you often need to remove rather than add. A thing I read, this was a cool thing. I need to find it. It was like 101 rules for your life. Just things that someone who's lived their life quite a lot, he passed down some things that he wished he would have knew earlier. And one of them was to make a space more luxurious, you need to remove rather than add. Same goes for pretty much everything in life, especially with things like diet. The more you remove from your diet in terms of the bad foods, the better it is, the simpler it is, the better it is for you, because it's single ingredient foods, less processed stuff, it's good. Same goes for your art, because if you remove the clutter around your entire piece and you direct the viewer's eye directly to where you want them to look, that's going to make your art piece a lot better. This is also a principle that 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐵 used to say in his designs. Good design is as little design as possible. It's kind of the same thing if you think about it. As little design as possible, so simple. Simplification. Do this for everything in your life. Let's look at something as you might think is meaningless, but removing the amount of tools you carry every day to draw with your sketchbook. Like you take your sketchbook and you take a ballpoint pen and that's it. You will get much more creative with it. You'll learn to focus on what you're doing. You won't be thinking about what you need to use, where you need to use it, all that sort of stuff. You won't need to worry about erasing. There's less for you to worry about, so there's more that you can concentrate on within what you're doing. Just basically means don't overcomplicate things. Usually if you want to get good at something, you need to focus on the fundamental part rather than learning a ridiculous skill that's really advanced and complicated. That's not how you do it. Usually you learn the fundamentals, you learn all that stuff. That's how you grow and you become a better person, better artist, better creative. Number two, I forgot to take these out of my bag. These are physical tools. We're actually going to do a physical tool. One, we have a journal. The journal, I'll talk about it in a second. And two, we have a good sketchbook or just a sketchbook. For me personally, I'm an artist. This may apply to you because you're watching an art channel. It should probably apply to you. A sketchbook is important, and I have multiple sketchbooks. This one I've dedicated to anatomy, and all I do in here is study anatomy. This is just a book for me to learn from other books and from other resources how to draw anatomy. It's one of the most important fundamentals that you can learn as an artist, and you should never neglect it like I did for most of my life. Two, the journal. You have no idea how important this has been for me recently. I've been trying to find myself. The end of last year is kind of where I realized that all I was doing in my life was trying to copy others and live as someone who I'm not, live as someone else. It may sound a little cringe about what I'm talking about here, but it just started hurting me that I couldn't think of ways to do things originally, rather than just wanting to copy someone else and do something the way someone else is doing it. It just didn't sit right with me at the end, and I just realized it was kind of holding me back. Like, I'm a person who learns on my own mistakes and my own sort of ventures. Like, you can warn me about something, but I will not take it seriously unless I make that mistake myself. That's why this kind of thing came around, and I started thinking about it, and I realized how important it is to have a journal just for that, because this is where I'm going to sit down and just be alone with my thoughts for a bit. I'm going to talk about things that are on my mind. I'm going to try and journal to make a decision, to figure out what the best move is, what the best thing to realize in my life at the moment is, come to peace with the fact that I start many projects and never finish them. Just conversations with myself that I need to have in order to figure all of this stuff out. I figured I should drink that coffee by now because it's getting late. But yeah, a journal is definitely going to be something that you can also use to find yourself and maybe find what you want to do, and just a way to cope with life. It's a place with absolutely zero sort of guilt, absolutely zero shame. No one's going to judge you in it because it's just you. Like, you can judge yourself, but it's just a conversation with yourself, and I think there's something beautiful about that. There's a reason why we should all do it. It's just because there's so much stuff going around nowadays. You just want to sit down and kind of process this information that you've received in your head and come up with some sort of conclusion. And it's also a way for me now, what I was talking about earlier, to figure it out with myself and on my own, rather than try and copy someone with something that I saw online. So that's why journal is important. Sketchbook is obviously artist reasons. Sketch a lot. We need to sketch a lot. That's something I want to do more this year. Something I want to do more every year. But I've already been making good progress on it. I've been making a lot of drawings, a lot of sketches. That's one of my books. I have another sketchbook in there which I use for ideas and stuff. It's okay to have loads of sketchbooks. Just dedicate them to something. Number 3. I have 2 here, and I have another one in my bag again. This was a wonderful, wonderful gift that I got on Christmas. I wanted this book for a very long time. It's called How to Draw. It's by Scott Robertson and Thomas Bertling. This is a fantastic book. It was not very available here in Poland. That's why I got it in the UK, which was great. I've been using this book greatly to just look and inspire myself. This book has been a cornerstone of my anatomy learning. It's Constructive Anatomy by George B. Bridgman. I made a video earlier, if you saw that. It was like a 15-minute study. I'm gonna do more of those. This is a great resource. I recommend it for everyone. The drawings are really done in this sort of stylistic, flowing way, which I think is wonderful. It's much nicer to understand these things as an artist. It's not very technical, it's more stylistic, which is what I like about it. And another one I have here is Vagabond. You have no idea how amazing this manga is, and I'm so happy that I finally got myself volume 1. I mainly got it for the art, because if you look, it is insane. I'm going to be using this a lot to try and learn from a god artist, and I recommend that you get some books that inspire you as well, hoping that this year is going to be the year where I just build up that arsenal as much as I can. And I recommend you do the same, especially if you're an artist. Learning from books is so much better. I open this up next to my sketchbook and I just go, I start drawing. I don't have to get a PDF up, I don't have to have a device with me, again, another device. I can just open up a book and get straight to it. If you have PDFs and that's all that's available to you, that's absolutely fine. I'm just talking about the fact that you should be using these resources, because a book is almost like a portal into the author's mind. This is a portal into Bridgman's drawings and the explanation of them. And it's almost as having a mentor with you as you're drawing, which is why these are so important and why 2025 is the year art books should rule, or just any books in general. I love books. It's a lovely thing to have physically. I have a Kindle as well, but it's not the same thing. All right, I'm gonna clean up a little bit because I'm starting to throw everything on the desk here. Number 4 is gratitude. This is a cliche one, as usual. Everyone talks about gratitude. Gratitude is this wonderful thing. It really is. There's a reason for it. And the journal and the gratitude go well together, because you can get the gratitude and you can write about it in your journal. If you look around the room and you look for green, right? Everywhere you look for green. I saw this on TikTok, whatever. It is true. If you look at everything that's green, you'll miss everything that's blue. But if you look at everything that's blue, you'll see that everything's blue and you'll miss the green things. So in your life, if you look for the good things that keep happening, or you're grateful for things, like recently, just before Christmas, our car kept breaking down, but it broke down and I was in the first situation where car's broken down, there's nothing to do. We have to call the car to come and pick it up. And that was the first experience for me. And it wasn't a great experience because it cost money and it was slightly stressful. It was just a situation that happened. But I said to myself, and I was really happy I said this to myself because I had this in the back of my mind and it made the experience a little bit more tolerable, to be grateful for the fact that I now know what to do in a situation like that. It's small, but you just know what to now do. And that's a good thing. So this terrible thing happened, but I was able to learn something from it. And just little things like that will absolutely change your mind about everything. It lowered the amount of stress that situation caused. It increased the amount of happiness, even though it was a bad situation. And this can happen for pretty much anything. Like at the beginning of January, I was very sick. And I'll get to that again by the end of the video, but it's the reason I couldn't make many videos. But it was just a time for me to slow down and think. And I was happy that I had this time to slow down and think about what I want to do with YouTube, what I want to do with my life, what I want to do, all these little things. It's just a time to slow down and think about all these things. So I try to take a positive out of what's happening. If you look at all the bad things in your life, you're going to have a bad life because you're going to just notice that, whilst the good things will pass you by. That's the whole concept of it. It's just another tool which I'm definitely going to use more in 2025, and I hope you do as well. You can use it in your art as well. Be grateful for the bad piece that you had because now you know what to do to make a good piece. Always, always, always look for the positives in anything in your life. So those are about the 4 tools that I'm going to take. So to wrap up, tools for 2025. There was pretty much only one physical tool on here. Reason why: I want to be a lot better this year. Just like every year everyone makes these goals, they want to be better. I also want to be better this year, and I hope you do as well, because we all should be trying to improve whenever we go through life. But it's also important to appreciate things in life that you have and things that you've done and things that you achieved. Look back with positive eyes, with gratitude. This video is meant to come out really much earlier, but unfortunately I suffer from this thing. You'll see it here. This is just one. I have chronic spontaneous urticaria, something like that. It's a weird name. Basically means my body from time to time decides it wants to have an explosion of histamines, which means I get an allergic reaction almost, and it just keeps happening. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't like the thing, but it stays around for a long time, and eventually I start to manage it with antihistamines, but it takes a while for it to kick in. That's why it was delayed, and that's why I didn't want to make any videos, because I look like a ladybird pretty much most of the time. But hopefully it's a little bit more under control and I'll be able to get back to doing what I really like doing. So that's just a little explanation. Not going to get too much into it because boohoo me. It's not boohoo me. I just don't want to talk about this stuff. That's kind of the reason for anyone that was wondering. Those were the tools for 2025. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and most important, like I mentioned, I hope you got something out of it. These are tools that you can definitely use, and I recommend that you do use them. This is also a reminder for myself. Hopefully I'll watch this video back in a couple of days, or well, not days, but a couple of months, and see if I've strayed away from these tools. At the moment I've been keeping them pretty locked in. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for your time and for being here. Happy 2025, although it's almost a month late. Take care, draw a lot, and be grateful for those drawings and that you have a hand to draw with. All right, take care.